Today on Around Kansas, Deb has some great show and tell gift ideas for you this holiday season. Next, it's a fun look at the ghost stories from the Battle of Lone Jack. On the front porch, Miss Rodeo Kansas Brooke Wallace. Ron Wilson is back with another poem, and we end with Christmas traditions from some great towns right here in Kansas from our friend Michelle Martin.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
Welcome to the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in my hometown of Oakley, Kansas. We're the front door of Western Kansas, located on 3 main highways, I-70, US 83, and US 40. And all those roads lead to history, beautiful scenery, and adventure, no matter which direction you go. We now have an IHOP. That brand that you've trusted up and down the road in all your travels is staffed with local folks, real people, just like you and me, and we're waiting on you to join us. So for fun, adventure, fuel up, fuel your body, and let's have some fun.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Good morning. I'm Deb Goodrich. Welcome to Around Kansas. It's great to have you with us as we're well into December, and I'm sure you've been doing some decorating just like I have. And isn't it fun when you get out those ornaments that have passed down through the generations or maybe just through the last couple of years, but you develop your favorites, don't you? This is one of my favorites. This was a gift from my sister Denise, a little Russian Santa Claus, and I don't know what they call Santa Claus in Russia, but when you open it up, you have 3 little eggs inside with other things, and I love this. This is just one of my favorite things. I've always enjoyed Russian culture and Russian history and Russian art, and have seen at least a couple of pieces of the Fabergé collection over my years. So yeah, it's really, really special to dig those things out year after year. I've got something else I wanted to share with you too. My friend Scott Porter has written a new book, so if you're looking for gift ideas, here they come. And this is a love story. This is a novel set in war-torn Albania and Serbia. And Scott is retired from the Command and General Staff College and is familiar with those areas, and so he draws on his own experiences in sharing the stories here. Scott's on Facebook. I think it's just Scott Porter Author or something like that, or you can find this on Amazon, and I highly recommend it. We may have quite some time for reading this winter. Another book that I'm reading right now, and anything by H.W. Brands is worth reading, Zealot Emancipator. And of course, this is about John Brown and Abraham Lincoln and the struggle for American freedom. So both of these gentlemen, of course, have ties to Kansas. And John Brown in Kansas, I'm teaching a course on for Osher Lifelong Learning in the spring. So that's one reason I'm reading the book. That's a good excuse. I'm preparing for that class, and I hope you can join me. It's been really a pleasure to teach via Zoom. It's kind of a new animal for me. It's a little different, and of course I know that a lot of you are Zooming a lot these days, and I sure have been. So I hope you can check out the Osher listings and maybe sign up for that class, because it's going to be a lot of fun. Lots of cool things are happening, despite the fact that a lot of cool events are being canceled. There's still stuff going on, and there's still a lot going on virtually too. So Michelle is going to share some holiday happenings with us later on today, and then I think we've got a lot of holiday stuff planned throughout the month, and if you've got some ideas, be sure to send us a message via Facebook or send us an email about some things that we need to be aware of or things that you want to talk about. Of course, I'm also gearing up for the 200th anniversary of the Santa Fe Trail. 2021 is going to be a very big year. It's going to be challenging, but it's going to be a big year. And the pandemic will not last forever. That's the only certainty in this world, isn't it? That it just won't last forever. And so pay attention to our Facebook page and websites, and let's see about making some great plans for 2021. In the meantime, we've got a great show for you today, so plan to stay with us.
In 1821, a trade route was opened from Missouri in the United States across prairies and mountains to Mexico. In 2021, we will mark 200 years of epic conflicts and grand adventures, larger-than-life personalities, and sweeping landscapes. Join us on an historic journey. The Santa Fe Trail lives on.
Find us on social media or santafetrail.org.
ValleyVet.com is your one-stop shop for your every animal need. From prescription meds, vaccines, equipment, and more for the ranch to the show ring. Shop ValleyVet.com for fast shipping and great prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
For a few weeks each year, historic Lecompton turns into a living Christmas village as dozens of volunteers, thousands of ornaments, and hundreds of trees come together to transform the territorial Capitol Museum into a Christmas postcard. The spirit of Christmas engulfs the town and all who visit.
Merry Christmas from historic Lecompton.
This segment brought to you by the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center in Oakley.
One of the ways that you can get outdoors and social distance is by visiting your parks, your state parks, city parks, federal parks, and battlefields. And we've got some great historic sites along the Kansas-Missouri border that just fit the bill. And one of my favorites is the Lone Jack battle site. And they have a wonderful museum. And even if the museum happens to be closed when you stop by, you can still wander around the battlefield. And if you remember True Grit, the Battle of Lone Jack is where Rooster Cogburn lost that eye and was forced to wear an eye patch. So it's got some great history, fictionalized and real. And the Lone Jack Museum there has been producing a series of segments called The Ghost of Lone Jack. And this is pretty doggone cool, and many of my friends are involved in this, and I just want to share with you what they're doing. And you know, December is traditionally a time of telling ghost stories. You know, the long winter, and people would sit around the fires and tell ghost stories, so I think this is really appropriate. And this one features my dear friend Greg Higginbotham, the legendary Hig, and he is portraying someone who is quite involved in the Battle of Lone Jack.
My name's George Wilcoxon, private, 3rd Indiana Battery of Light Artillery. I was killed right here on this field. You know, that was quite a storm we had come through here a few moments ago. Whenever that occurs, it just seems as though my spirit comes back onto this field. I'm buried right over there, 15, 20 yards from here. You know, we got here on the evening of the 15th. Set up right along the old square right there, which I guess they were calling the new town. You know, boy, the morning of the 16th of August in 62, them boys come out of the cornfield, them Confederates, and they surprised us big. But we put up a hard fight, and them boys fought hard. But we couldn't save the day. They came through here, took our gun about 4 or 5 times, and we finally spiked it so they couldn't use it. Not long after that is when I was killed. Shot right through the breast. Now, I've seen a lot of things go on here on this field since the day I was killed. I've seen picnics coming over to commemorate the battle, and those who died here. Oh, not long ago, the Confederates come over and they set up a white big tall marble for the dead. I figured, yeah, that's fine. And then, I don't know, maybe 1905 or somewhere right in there, this fella come over from Kansas. His name was Roney, and he had fought here. And he built this little old square cement block for the Federals like myself that were here. You know, I've seen a lot of other things go on. I've seen a president, I think his name was Truman, and he come over here and he dedicated that museum sitting right over there. I thought it was kind of odd because it was a round building. I remember the big blackjack oak, big tall oak tree sitting right there on the prairie when we arrived here back in '62. You know, I get a lot of energy when them storms come through here, but I'm just slow. I'm just losing all that storm gave me. And I just don't think I can.
Welcome to the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in my hometown of Oakley, Kansas. We're the front door of Western Kansas, located on 3 main highways, I-70, US 83, and US 40. And all those roads lead to history, beautiful scenery, and adventure, no matter which direction you go. We now have an IHOP. That brand that you've trusted up and down the road in all your travels is staffed with local folks, real people just like you and me, and we're waiting on you to join us. So for fun, adventure, fuel up, fuel your body, and let's have some fun.
Okay, looks like it's time for our tour. Welcome to the Fort Wallace Museum. Here at the museum, you're going to find some really interesting stuff like our replica stagecoach from the Butterfield Overland Dispatch. We've got facades from the fort buildings. We've got an 1870s flag. There's a plesiosaur that was discovered locally. We've got the Ray pump organ collection. We're a little bitty place with a great big story, and we'd love to have you.
ValleyVet.com is your one-stop shop for your every animal need, from prescription meds, vaccines, equipment, and more for the ranch to the show ring. Shop ValleyVet.com for fast shipping and great prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment brought to you by Bob Schwartz Financial. Values, commitment, transparency.
Brooke Wallace was Miss Rodeo Kansas and is now Miss Rodeo USA. We discussed charities she was involved in as Miss Rodeo Kansas and goals she has for Miss Rodeo USA for the year 2020.
Really enjoyed working with an organization called Cowboys Who Care, and what they do is through hospital visits, basically show up and give a brand new hat to all of these kids that are suffering a life-threatening illness. And so I really enjoyed being able to go into those hospital rooms and brighten up their day. We would wear our full hat, crown, sash, chaps, so the kids got to see something that they wouldn't necessarily get to see in a hospital or let alone in real life. So that was really fun. And I also did the 50 Pink Horse Challenge, and that's something that promotes breast cancer awareness and education. And the goal is to ride 50 horses in the month of October, and each one of those rides is dedicated to someone who is currently fighting breast cancer or has passed from breast cancer. And so it was just a way to kind of highlight that and give some recognition to some of those ladies who have really had a tough go at life. And there's so many things. I through the PRCA, there's an organization called Justin Cowboy Crisis Fund, and they raise funds for cowboys and cowgirls who get hurt doing what we love, the sport of rodeo, and help them kind of get through their injuries so they can get back to rodeoing. And I sold keychains during the year and raised $2,000 that I was able to give back to them from just a simple keychain and selling those through the year.
Yeah, because there's really no, when you get hurt in the sport of rodeo, you're kind of on your own as far as recuperation from bills or hospital stays or things like that. And I don't think that everybody realizes that.
Right, and when you're hurt, you can't normally rodeo, so therefore you're not giving yourself the opportunity to earn a paycheck, and so it can kind of be really hard on people, but that organization is definitely there to help.
And I know that you just took on the crown of Miss Rodeo USA, but what are some of your goals, or have you set those yet for the upcoming year?
Oh, I am so excited for this opportunity to go and travel more and promote rodeo, and to say I have big plans is an understatement. And that's definitely what this last week has been, and going into about the next 2 weeks before I really hit the road to some IPRA rodeos. But you'll definitely see a huge presence on social media. So this year I'll be running a Facebook, an Instagram, a Twitter, a Snapchat, and also writing a blog at least once a month. But it might happen a little bit more because there'll be a lot of places that I'll be at and I want people to know about. So you can find all of those at just a simple Miss Rodeo USA search on any of those platforms. But the world will definitely know where I'm at and what I'm doing, and I hope to really promote, the Miss Rodeo USA organization, while also the International Professional Rodeo Association, because that's what my job's all about, and I really want people to know how awesome both of these two organizations are.
I'm Bob Swartz, and I've devoted the last 43 years to helping Kansans reach their retirement goals and to protect the family farm. At Bob Swartz Financial, we believe everyone should be able to live the retirement they've always dreamed of. Our team of professionals can help you create an efficient strategy using a variety of investment vehicles to help you address your financial needs and your concerns. Bob Swartz Financial values commitment and transparency.
The Territorial Capitol Museum in Lecompton has selected 50 of its most beautiful and most historic trees for display this year, making it possible for you to celebrate the season and maintain your social distancing. Visit all of our attractions when you come to Lecompton. Visit both museums and our local shops and restaurants. And Merry Christmas from everyone here.
This segment brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook. Let us help feed your family. This segment brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
I read a true story about the trail drives of old that had to do with the way the chuck wagon cook would place the chuck wagon every night on the trail drive. And it got me thinking about some inspirational thoughts and the guidance we need from above. So this is a serious poem titled A Guide from Above. In the history of the West, in the days of old, from the era of cattle drives, a story is told. A chuck wagon accompanied the herd each day so the cowboys could have food along their way. But wherever it was they made camp for the night, the old cook was careful to do one thing just right. He'd look at the night sky from afar and place the wagon with the tongue pointing toward the North Star. Then every morning when daylight came, their northerly direction would be the same. And when they drove those cattle forth, they knew their direction would be true north. In modern life, our directions are sometimes unclear with demands and distractions from life and career. We have no chuck wagons or cattle drives, but there's lots of confusion in the things that we strive. So like the cowboys of old, let's do this just right and follow a heavenly guide every morning and night. Happy trails.
Kim Mannering with Hardy Insurance. Today we will talk about umbrella coverage. Did you know that if you're held liable in any type of accident, the judgment can claim your assets? Please give me a call so we can discuss. 316-945-6733.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well on their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, and we're glad to answer it and work with you.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Michelle has some bright Christmas stories for us today. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning, Deb. With Christmas just weeks away, let's look at 3 towns with amazing holiday traditions: Waukene, Lecompton, and Fort Scott. Every year, 3 Kansas communities, Waukene, Lecompton, and Fort Scott, transform into holiday wonderlands in their own unique ways. Since 1950, Waukene has been known as the Christmas City of the High Plains. The town features the largest Christmas display between Kansas City and Denver. The Saturday after Thanksgiving, the town becomes a winter wonderland. Over 6,800 lights twinkle against the night sky in downtown. Fresh greenery, bows, garlands, and a replica of the North Pole, built by local volunteers, delights visitors well into the new year. The center of town features a 35-foot Christmas tree with a canopy of blue lights that emerge from the tree's star toppers. Wagon rides, virtual sleigh rides, and live reindeer are just a few of the activities for families. Lecompton, one of the oldest and most historic towns in Kansas, gets into the spirit of Christmas at the Territorial Capitol Museum each holiday season. Every year, the staff and volunteers at the Territorial Capitol Museum set up and decorate over 150 Christmas trees. Some trees feature unique Victorian ornaments, while one is made entirely of dyed goose feathers and another of barbed wire. Trees celebrating the University of Kansas, Kansas State University, and our armed forces are just a few of those on display. This year's display, that lasts until January 1st, is designed to promote social distancing and allow visitors to take in the holiday beauty and history while staying safe. For 38 years, the rangers, staff, and volunteers at Fort Scott National Historic Site have taken visitors back in time the first weekend of December. The annual Candlelight Tour is the kickoff event of the holiday season. Each year, staff and volunteers set up and light hundreds of candle lanterns that help guide visitors as they tour the fort at night. Tour groups visit the fort's numerous buildings and learn about the history of the fort and the people who made it their home. Vignettes, provided by living history interpreters, share stories of the fort's past with visitors on the tour. Volunteers donate hundreds of hours to make the event an annual success. This year, due to ongoing health concerns, the Candlelight Tour was held virtually. There is still time to visit Waukene and Lecompton and enjoy their holiday traditions. Also, don't forget to visit Fort Scott National Historic Site's Facebook page and website to view this year's tour videos. I hope you get to enjoy these Kansas holiday traditions and that you'll join me next time for another historical adventure somewhere around Kansas.
Sending blessings out to each and every one of you this morning. We'll see you next week, and in the meantime, we'll see you somewhere around Kansas.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. ValleyVet.com is your one-stop shop for your every animal need. From prescription meds, vaccines, equipment, and more for the ranch to the show ring. Shop ValleyVet.com for fast shipping and great prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Welcome to the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in my hometown of Oakley, Kansas. We're the front door of Western Kansas, located on 3 main highways, I-70, US 83, and US 40. And all those roads lead to history, beautiful scenery, and adventure, no matter which direction you go. We now have an IHOP. That brand that you've trusted up and down the road in all your travels is staffed with local folks, real people, just like you and me, and we're waiting on you to join us. So for fun, adventure, fuel up, fuel your body, and let's have some fun.
In 1821, a trade route was opened from Missouri in the United States across prairies and mountains to Mexico. In 2021, we will mark 200 years of epic conflicts and grand adventures, larger-than-life personalities, and sweeping landscapes. Join us on an historic journey. The Santa Fe Trail lives on.
Find us on social media or santafetrail.org. Highways 40, 83, and I-70 come together right here in Oakley. Roads that lead to businesses, to magnificent rock formations, to scenic vistas, to places where legends were made. Roads that lead us home. Discover Oakley, the gateway to Western Kansas.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.